Within the next week, the Thunder will play the NBA champions. The question is whether it's just last year's champion or this year's too. From the Dodge Sports Desk, I'm Mike Sherman, and this is the NBA and OKC with Mike Baldwin. Mike, the big game Tuesday night at the Ford Center. The Lakers are back in town. The Lakers lead the Western Conference by a comfortable margin. They're going to have the home court advantage through the playoffs on the Western Conference side. The question is, can the Thunder pull off another one of these big upsets of a Western Conference power?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how Phil plays it the rest of the season, because he said last week, once Cleveland finally passed them, the Lakers had a little blip or two on the screen, that I'm not going to wear my team out just to try to get home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs. So if he starts resting some of his guys and not playing them 35, 40 minutes, he's not going to sacrifice games, but at the same time, I don't think he's just going to try to. The last time the Lakers were here, they caught him in the fourth quarter, remember, and Kobe went off with 15 in the fourth quarter. So one, will be interested to see how Phil plays it. But two, the Thunder's definitely gaining confidence. I mean, even in their home losses, they've been playing teams tough. They had a monster win on the road against a bad Minnesota team, leading by 32 the other night. They're playing loose, easy. I mean, all the pieces are starting to come together. It's an interesting game. Lakers should win because they're the Lakers, but as they showed the last time they were in town, the Thunder can play with them. Let's see if they can push them all the way to the end this time.
Thabo Sefalosha guarded Kobe Bryant the last time the Lakers were at the Ford Center, but he hadn't been with the team very long. Since then, he's really sort of proved his abilities as a defensive stopper. How do you see that matchup unfolding tonight?
Well, Kobe's Kobe. No matter who guards him, he usually gets his share. And even in that game, I mean, Tabo's right there in his face, and he still hit like 7 in a row there in the fourth quarter. Hit some tough shots. Kobe showed everybody in the Ford Center why he's Kobe. But the one stat that jumps out to me on Thabo is, looked up the other day, he's 2.7 steals per game in March, third in the whole league. So I don't know if he can do it over a whole season, but over the last month since he's been with the Thunder, he's among the league's steal leaders. He's provided by far the best defense, and it's been contagious. And the interesting stat is they've won, I think it's 12 or 13 in a row when an opponent scores under 100 points. And it dates all the way back to early January. And I think a lot of that is Thabo came in and the defense has gotten better. And when they have a good defensive effort, they've usually been winning.
The change has been remarkable. They've gone from a team that had to trying to score 120 a night to a team capable of scoring, holding the other team below 90. So it's been interesting. But the big news for the Thunder in the last week has been the return of DJ White. He goes up to Tulsa and has 2 really nice games. Been out all season with this after surgery on his jaw. What's the latest on DJ going in the Lakers game?
Well, Coach Brooks said on Tuesday after the shoot-around before the Lakers game that they're definitely not going to play him Tuesday night. They said they want to see how he looks in practice Wednesday and Thursday, might play in Toronto Friday, might play Sunday in Boston, then they play San Antonio next Tuesday. It's one of those things, since they've waited so long to get him back where he is close to playing, they're not going to rush it. But I'd be surprised if he doesn't play one of those 3 games, maybe as early as Friday. And reading Darnell's account in Monday's paper from when he went up to watch him, he's long, athletic. He's lost some weight because of the jaw surgery. I imagine it is harder to eat, and keep the pounds on. But he was jumping over 7-footers and everything, according to Darnell's account. I think if nothing else, the Thunder fans have been hearing about, well, what would DJ White bring to this team? I think we at least may find out the last 2 weeks of the season a glimpse of what he might be able to provide next year.
DJ White, a late first-round pick last year.
Big Ten Player of the Year. People forget that.
Big Ten Player of the Year. Okay, now the Thunder's up to 20 wins, Mike. How significant is it that they've matched last year's victory total with 12 to play?
Well, they were all downplaying it for the most part. Brooks said, we're always about getting better in this practice, this game. We've heard it 100 times. Carlson said, you are what you are. If you're under 30 wins, then you're all about the same, in the same boat. But we are a little encouraged that we had a 7-7 January. They've got a winning record so far in March. They're 17-21 since New Year's Eve. But Durant, who I put a lot of stock in, he was with this team that won 20 last year. He goes, it is something to build on. We could have thrown in the towel and played for lottery balls, is what he told me Sunday in Minneapolis. What he's saying is a lot of teams are doing that. You see it around the league. They throw it in, oh, we're not going anywhere. This team instead has ratcheted this game up and played better. So the fact that they were 3-29 and everybody said, can they even get to 15 wins, to already be to 20 with 12 to play and probably will get around 25, I think it's a major accomplishment and definitely a building block for next season.
Okay, Mike, the rest of this week at Toronto on Friday and at the defending champion Boston Celtics on Sunday. Which of last year's finalists, both of whom the Thunder play this week, are most likely to win this year?
Well, I like the Lakers, and it depends on what reports you hear out there. Some of them say they're playing possum with Bynum. That last year he had the knee injury. Oh, we may get him back, and they didn't get him back, and it affected him in the finals more than it did the Western Conference side of the playoffs. This year they're saying, oh, we may not get him back, when we're hearing the injury may not be quite as bad as last year, and that he will be back here in a few weeks. If he comes back, Lakers hands down, I think, are the team to beat. Even without him, they might win. The interesting thing, we're going to write about it in Sunday's paper, is Boston last year, remember, in the first and second round needed that seventh game in the home court advantage, but once they got deeper in the playoffs against the Pistons and Lakers, they won some road games. And Kevin McHale Sunday in Minneapolis, when I asked him about this subject, can they still repeat even though they're not going to have home court and they've had more ups and downs this year? He said, of course they can. They still got the same players, this and that. And he goes, but it did surprise me last year. They needed home court advantage. You're not an NBA champion unless you can go win on the road. I think the Celtics are going to be intriguing in the playoffs because they definitely have the talent to do it, but this year it's going to be a tougher road to do it. That's what's going to make the playoffs fun this year.
Okay, thanks, Mike. That's all for the NBA and OKC with Mike Baldwin. But you can stay with the best coverage team anywhere, every day at News OK and every morning in the Oklahoman.